What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks bringing you some Go Battle League battles here in the Willpower Cup. And in today's video, I'm going to be running a fun team with SNEASLER and then two dark types in the back being Mandibuzz and Umbreon. I tell you what, I have been really struggling in the Willpower Cup. So I posted on Twitter asking if anyone has some fun teams that they've been running. And big shout out to Matt Johnson, who responded to my tweet and recommended this team. I did have a SNEASLER built already, so I figure I might as well try it. Mandibuzz, as we know in the Willpower Cup, is one of the most solid picks in this meta, and then throwing Umbreon in the back adds a lot of bulk as well. But we'll jump right into this game. SNEASLER is pretty much the glassiest Pokemon that you will find in the Willpower Cup, so you win a lot of the CMP ties. Shadow Claw able to hit for super effective against the psychic types and hit for neutral against the fairy subtypings as well. X Scissor also able to hit for super effective against the dark types and the psychic types. And close combat is a really nice nuke move against the dark types as well. My opponent brings in a Toxicroak here. I go for the close combat, and then I can easily get my Mandibuzz aligned to this Toxicroak. I have encountered a couple Toxicroaks that have actually been running Dynamic Punch, which is pretty interesting, but this Toxicroak looks like he's just running Sludge Bomb and Mud Bomb. Gonna take out the Toxicroak. In comes the Galarian Rapidash as well. Galarian Rapidash is another pretty fun pick in this meta. It's very glassy as well, but very quick to get to the moves. Body Slam does some nice neutral damage, and you can run Play Rough or Mega Horn as kind of the nuke move. Able to land an Aerial Ace on that Lucario, and then here we actually CMP tie on this move, but SNEASLER wins the CMP tie against a Lucario, which is pretty crazy to think about because Lucario is very glassy as well. Mandibuzz in the lead. So typically I stay in and I throw a close combat and then swap because that guarantees that I either have a huge damage advantage with my own Mandibuzz or I'm up a shield in this matchup. Out comes a Pawniard, and Pawniard is another really cool core breaker in this cup. I just do not have one built. It requires XL candies, and I definitely do not have enough XLs or even a decent IV Pawniard that I would want to try, but it breaks so many cores. It's a very good response to Mandibuzz, all the other dark types. So they do go for 2 Iron Heads here, but we're still able to chip it down with this Mandibuzz and get it fairly low. They are going to leave this matchup with energy stored though, which is really unfortunate. Now, even though SNEASLER is going to resist this Night Slash damage, I'm going to let it go and see how much it does. That does so much damage. We're able to farm it down, luckily. They still have a very healthy Mandibuzz. I'm going to bring in my Umbreon and see what they have in the back. The Umbreon versus Mandibuzz matchup really takes a long time, as we know, but it's pretty crazy to think that Umbreon, despite hitting for resisted moves with Snarl and Mandibuzz hitting neutral the whole time with Air Slash and Aerial Ace, Umbreon still can beat Mandibuzz just because Aerial Ace is such a bad move and Last Resort is much more energy efficient. They do have a Shadow Drapion here. They're getting my shields with these Aqua Tails, but I need to land a Last Resort onto this Drapion to get rid of it. And I throw one Snarl there before queuing up the charge move for good timing here. They do end up shielding that. I immediately go into my SNEASLER here, but they predicted the combo play, and I end up throwing this X Scissor on the Mandibuzz. There's no win con for me at this point. That Mandibuzz was going to be able to take me out there. Good game. Sableye in the lead. I have 2 better responses to this, so I'm immediately going to go into my Mandibuzz. I've seen some people counter my Mandibuzz safe swap with Shadow Tyranitar. That's pretty devastating when that happens. Pawniard is pretty common. I've also seen a lot of Alolan Raichu in the back to counter the Mandibuzz. Gonna throw another Aerial Ace here. Hopefully I can get a shield from this matchup, but they end up no shielding, and we have flipped switch advantage, which means my Umbreon now is able to be aligned against that Sableye, which is pretty positive for me. Out comes Mandibuzz. And so at this point, this is kind of awkward. If they end up farming me all the way down, which it looks like they're going to do that, my Umbreon has the most value here. However, my SNEASLER cannot absorb the energy from this Mandibuzz. So I'm going to come in with my Umbreon here and just absorb all this damage. Out comes the Sableye, and I wanted to be in this matchup anyways. I just didn't want my SNEASLER to be stuck against that Umbreon with all that loaded energy. But their Umbreon still has a lot of loaded energy, unfortunately. So I'm going to throw this Foul Play, and now the Sableye is low enough in health where I could potentially farm it down. I'm going to call the Foul Play here, and I am able to farm it all the way down, but not until they take me out. I will shield this up, and then I need to get shields off of their Mandibuzz. So I'm going to throw one Shadow Claw and then queue up this X-Scissor here. I get a shield, and now I'm going to go for the close combat. And I know I will be farmed down here, but I was able to get both those shields. And at this point, we're looking pretty good. I'm up a shield, and Umbreon can handle this matchup anyways. So I think my opponent saves us some time and top lefts here relatively quickly. But let me know down in the comments, have you been enjoying Willpower Cup? To be honest, I really have not been enjoying this meta too much. And to be totally honest, I haven't been able to play as many battles nearly as much as I have in the past. The fall is just always really busy with my work, so when I am able to do some battles, I kind of watch YouTube videos of other creators, ask on Twitter what teams people have been enjoying, and kind of been trying them out. A Claydol in the lead. It is running Mud Slap. We have two better responses to this, so I will go into my Mandibuzz, and it's met with a Pawniard. Even though Pawniard wins this matchup, Mandibuzz ends up getting it pretty low towards the end of this. And if I can get a decent farm down with my SNEASLER, then I will have energy to threaten that Claydol. There's a case to be made. I could have potentially shielded that move to try to get a shield off of them, but they end up shielding this anyways, which is really good for me. However, they do get a lot of energy here. And this is pretty unfortunate. I was not keeping track of energy at all. So you see me shielding a Night Slash, which is awful. And then I thought that they might have had enough for an Iron Head, because I know Fury Cutter generates energy very quickly. But they got both my shields. So terrible play on my part. They actually end up having a Mandibuzz in the back. So this is kind of my only win con here. I'm going to land this close combat, go into my Umbreon. And now my Umbreon is definitely the win con here. I need to make sure that I stay over farmed on energy. So that way when the Claydol comes back in, I will have enough energy to be able to land a Foul Play on it. It's still full health pretty much. But Mud Slap doesn't really generate energy too quickly. Umbreon typically does lose the CMP tie here against the Mandibuzz. And I'm curious as to where they're going to spend their shield. So they're going to let that go. Out comes the Claydol once again. I need to burn their final shield and then also land a Foul Play here. But I'm trying to keep track of their energy, and then I figured they would go for the CMP tie, so I end up catching the move on my SNEASLER here. But they undercharge, beautiful undercharge. They're going to be able to farm me all the way down now, but will they have enough energy to get to another move? That is the question. I'm not able to get to another X-Scissor, but I do have the Foul Play stored, and they were not quite yet at that move, so we will be able to take this game. Very close game there. Good game. I was able to hit Legend, by the way, a couple weeks ago. I just never really got around to making a video of it. I think this might be the first season that I didn't end up making a video on reaching Legend, but it was back in Great League. And from what I understand, for the rest of the season here in Go Battle League, we will not have Open Great League in any of the formats other than Catch Cup at the end. So I'm really going to have to learn some new teams or think of some strong teams for Open Ultra League or Open Master League as well to try to climb back onto the leaderboards. I'm able to take out the Deoxys there. Out comes the Hisuian Quillfish. This is a really interesting pick for this cup because you can run Ice Beam on it, and you have Poison Jab as the fast move to be a solid response to Mandibuzz. We are now stuck in this Umbreon mirror. I'm going to see if I can fast forward this a little bit here because these end up taking a little bit of time. So we're still in this Umbreon mirror here. And they ended up swapping back into their Quillfish, so I'm going to make a pivot back into my SNEASLER here. And I get their final shield with the X-Scissor. But at this point, even though I know it's going to be a long drawn out game, I saved both my shields for the Mandibuzz and Umbreon, and we're looking pretty good here. Get a fast forward, and we're actually into the next game. My opponent ended up conceding that previous match. Good game. A Alolan Raichu. We do win the CMP tie here. And these Shadow Claws are really chunking, but you can see that the Volt Switch damage is doing a lot as well. Out comes a Quillfish. I'm just going to go straight for the nuke here and see what they want to do. Oh my goodness, it almost one-shots the Quillfish. So I'm actually going to come in Umbreon here to load up on even more energy. And that way, if they bring in the Alolan Raichu, they're going to be in a very difficult spot because I have a lot of energy loaded. And what are they going to bring in? At that point, they concede the match. We will never know what they had in the back. Good game. Alolan Raichu in the lead again. Maybe Alolan Raichu in the lead seems to be the place for it because it's unlikely that you'll be switch locked against a Claydol there. Or in the back as like a punish to a Mandibuzz safe swap seems good as well. This person is running Thunder Shock as the fast move. So they generate energy a little bit faster. Out comes a Malamar. This thing is double weak to bug type damage. So I'm going to throw this X-Scissor. I get a shield and then I can easily go into Mandibuzz here. Both moves will be hitting for neutral here. Because of that dark psychic typing, the dark moves will be hitting for neutral. And they're just going straight for the superpowers here. I'm totally fine with this. I want to build up as much energy as possible, so when that Alolan Raichu comes in, I have energy to threaten it with. And they concede the match as well. Up 2 shields. We were in a pretty dominant position there. Good game. Another Quillfish. They end up swapping into a Charm Shadow Latias. So I'm going to throw this X-Scissor and then see what they want to do. All of the Charm users in this cup get non-stab Charm. So they end up letting that go. We have lead. I'm going to bring my Mandibuzz, but it's now on this Quillfish, which definitely has Ice Beam. I'm wondering if this is like Quillfish double Charm or something. But this Ice Beam is going to do a lot of damage. I'm going to get outpaced. They actually end up going for Aqua Tail, maybe trying to bait me, or they're not running Ice Beam. Potentially Aqua Tail and then Shadow Ball. They end up going for another one here. And yet another move. I had a feeling that I would barely survive this though, and I do. Able to throw this Aerial Ace, and then we'll see what they want to do here. In the back is another Charmer. It's a Charm Gallade. Oh my goodness. So gonna throw this Foul Play. Burn one shield, and then I really need to land. They actually end up no shielding that. What an amazing play by them. I should have went for double Last Resort. But now they end up shielding that. What a call by my opponent. I bring in my Mandibuzz to get 1 Air Slash worth of damage, and 1 Shadow Claw is able to finish off that Gallade. Good game. I believe we have one more game in this video. We have My Little Pony in the lead. This Galarian Rapidash again, very fast, very spammy, pretty glassy as well. Out comes Mandibuzz. I'm going to throw the close combat and then see what they want to do. They end up no shielding that, so I go into my own Mandibuzz, and I always want to leave this matchup with as much stored energy as possible. So I'm going to throw an Aerial Ace here. And I can just let all these moves go. I might even go for a full farm down here and see what they want to do. My Mandibuzz has pretty bad IVs. It was hatched. So it's got kind of a high attack stat, but we're able to farm it down. And what are they going to end up bringing in here? We are down a shield. They end up bringing in Zweilous. So I'm going to chip this with an Aerial Ace. I might swap out of here to avoid getting farmed down. We'll see here. I'm going to pivot into my Umbreon. And at this point, I can honestly just go straight Foul Play, even though it's resisted damage, because all their Pokemon are getting so low, they have to start spending shields regardless. So I'm just going straight Foul Play. Things are looking pretty good here. We get the final shield. Now, Play Rough will do a lot of damage. Same with Mega Horn. So I do correctly shield up Mega Horn, thank goodness. Able to get to this Foul Play. It's going to hit neutral on the Rapidash. Hopefully this will be enough to knock it out. Down goes the Rapidash and this Zweilous in the back. We're looking pretty good here. Is this a body slam? No, they're actually running Dragon Pulse, but we're able to get to this last resort and take out this Wireless. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll see you all in the next video.